All right, full confession. It's June 1st, and I meant to do this over the weekend. Today's a Monday, June 1st, 2026. But I meant to do this over the weekend because I was thinking about it. The Blue Oyster Cult song, Then Came the Last Days of May. It's been around for almost as long as I have, but for some reason, I only just heard it for the first time like 2 months ago. It came up in a Spotify playlist, and I was like, this is fantastic. I love this song. This is so good. Who is it? And it turned out to be Blue Oyster Cult, and it was from 1972 from their debut album. So I think it's a drug deal gone wrong. I don't know. Let's let's take a look. The electric guitar work is just great. I don't know why. I just I just love the electric guitar on it. Parched land, no desert sand. I'm not going to sing. I wouldn't do that to you. Parched land, no desert sand. Sun is just a dot, and a little bit of water goes a long way because it's hot. Three good buddies were laughing and smoking in the back of a rented Ford. They couldn't know they weren't going far. Ominous. Each one with the money in his pocket could go out and buy himself a brand new car, but they all had the money they had, money they hoped would take them very far. Skies bright, traffic light, and now and then a truck, and they hadn't seen a cop all around all day. What luck? What luck is like background vocals. I think it's like female vocals. It's kind of cool. They brought everything they needed, bags and scales to weigh the stuff. The driver said the border's just over the bluff. So are they going to Canada? Are they going to Mexico? What's going on here? Probably Canada, since they were from Stony Brook. They formed in Stony Brook College, University, whatever, on Long Island. So maybe Canada. I don't know. It wasn't until the car suddenly stopped in the middle of a cold and barren place and the other guy turned and spilled three boys' blood. Did they know a trap had been laid? Oh no, blood spilled. But then he says they're okay. The last days of May, but I'll be breathing dry air. I'm leaving soon. The others are already there. Wouldn't be interested in coming along instead of staying here. It said the West is nice this time of year. It's what they say. And that's how it ends. That's what they say. So, really interesting story. My new favorite thing to do is I go to Wikipedia. I like to brag that I have Wikipedia knowledge of things. So I go to Wikipedia and I copy the link and then I bring it into Notebook LM. If you haven't heard of Notebook LM, find out about Notebook LM because it turns everything into a podcast. So it's perfect for people like me who are curious but who don't like to read. So I've done it for a lot of different things in the past couple weeks. So if I'm curious about something, that's how I do it. So I will put a link to the Notebook LM audio overview. What it does is you put anything in there. Could be a PDF document, could be an article on the web, could be a web page, and it converts it to a conversational podcast. So it's a man and a woman just talking. And you listen to enough of this and you start to see the patterns, like they always say, imagine this or picture this, like as the first thing. And then at some point they're like, let's unpack this. And then at another point, it's like, well, I want to push back a little bit on that. So there are these tropes that happen within it, but it's very conversational. The voices are very good. I don't know why my camera's zooming in and out. Sorry about that. But anyway, it's all very good. And I also think, let me just check this really quick. Yeah, I'm using the wrong microphone, so the sound's probably not as good. But anyway, I'll put the link in it and you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. But it's just a great way for me to ingest information. So, and then I think, Blue Oyster Cult, this poor guy wrote Don't Fear the Reaper like 50 years ago. And now, they go out on stage to play because they're still touring, I think. They're still around. I used to live in Mableton, Georgia, and it had a little amphitheater. So every summer, you'd see these bands from that era, like the early 70s, it would be like Deep Purple or like the Moody Blues, or maybe Blue Oyster Cult, Loverboy would come around, Pat Benatar, groups like that are like way, way, way past their prime. And that's what they do. They play these little towns because Mableton, I mean, it's bigger now, but at the time it was just a sleepy little town with an amphitheater, but they got some pretty good acts in there. So these Blue Oyster Cult probably now goes to these places like the Mapleton Amphitheater, and all it is people shouting more cowbell at them these days. Thanks to Will Ferrell and Christopher Walken. But you know, the guy wrote a song like 50 years ago, and this is what his life's become. He goes to these little towns, and people yell more cowbell at him. It's a very strange existence, you know. I guess there are worse fates in the world. But anyway, yeah. If you haven't heard Then Came the Last Days of May, I highly recommend it. It's really good. All right. And you can listen to the podcast to learn all about Blue Oyster Cult. It's like, you know, every other rock and roll life, members coming and going, you know, disputes with labels, poor sales at some point. I'm sure all the personal relationships were just destroyed at some point. You know, somebody gets pissed off and stalks. It's the story of every single rock band you'll ever hear. But yeah, and one last cool fact, because I thought this was cool. When they came up with the iconography for Blue Oyster Cult, that symbol that they have, that is the alchemist symbol for lead, which is a heavy metal. See what I did there? Yeah, apparently there was this poet involved. Just listen to the podcast, but there was a poet involved, and he used Blue Oyster Cult as the heavy metal Trojan horse for him to get his poetry out there, or something like that. It's weird, but anyway, cool story. And I thought they were just a three-hit wonder, you know, like kind of like Kansas. You know, Kansas had Dust in the Wind, Point of No Return, and Carry On My Wayward Son. Like I thought that was it. I thought Blue Oyster Cult was, you know, Don't Fear the Reaper, Godzilla, Burning for You. Like I thought that was their only three hits. And then I listened to Then Came the Last Days of May. Now I think they're a four-hit wonder. It wasn't a hit, but it's a great song. All right, I've talked too much. I'm going.